Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Beer Garden. This time, Nathan and I will be talking about our selections on tonight's trial meeting at Sha Tin. So, as usual, we are going to discuss the treble races, race 9 to race 11, because today we are going to have an 11 race card at Sha Tin. Quite a tough schedule, I would say, but it is definitely interesting. So, after talking about the treble races, we will be talking about our best bet and value bet. So let us start with race 9, which will be the first leg of the treble. It is a class 4 over 1600 meters. Nathan, who do you like in race 9?
Yeah, and a very tough contest actually. It was one of those ones where I kept trying to find value and look outside of the favourite here, the leading one in the market is number 3, Flying Mojito. I've actually landed with him on top. I do think it's a wide race outside of that. I'm going to make a case for one at a better price around 10-1, but Flying Mojito is on top for me. Just very consistent this preparation. He won 5 starts back over the mile at Sha Tin. That was all the way back on February 19. Now, ever since then, he's been very consistent and been a little bit unlucky, whether it be a wide draw here or there, or just a little bit of an awkward run in transit. He just hasn't quite been able to put it back-to-back wins on the board or put an extra win on the board this preparation. 10 starts for 1 win, but he's found the minor placings 5 times in his career since starting his campaign. He's been very, very impressive, this son of Dundeel. I love Barrier 5, gets a very good map this time as well. Should be right in the finish here yet again. Last time he actually ended up leading against Looking Cool. He did get a slow tempo up on speed and he got it his own way. I'm just a little bit cautious as to whether or not he wants to be the genuine leader here. He can be if they go slow enough and Zach Burton wants to dictate terms. But this time, I feel like if they're from Barrier 5, they can go maybe even take a sit, maybe find the 1-1 and find a really nice cart into the race. Because I know it's an interesting race with not a stack of speed in here. So it'll just be interesting for tactics here are going to be key, despite the big field. I think Purton's going to have to be very careful about how he gets into this race. The other one that I want to give a spruik to that, again, it's more tempo related. I'm a little bit concerned he might be a little bit too far back. That's number 6, Chili Barber. I've got so much time for this galloper. I think it's very, very progressive. It just does a lot wrong. Last time it was against Yellowfin, who put a big, big space on his rivals over the 1400 meters. In that race. And you had, I believe it was Simple Hedge came out and won since that race, who looks a very nice type moving forward. So I think that form line's going to stack up really well. Chili Barber jumped. He went back to last from barrier 12. This time he draws a genuine gate from barrier 7. And if he can sit a little bit closer than he has been as of late with Mickey D jumping on board, I think Chili Barber is the one that can make some noise here at around 10-1. I think that's the one that's over the odds. So if I was having a value play in the race, it's going to be Chili Barber, but the one on top, I just think on the map and knowing what you're going to get from him a little bit more consistently, I've got to be with Flying Mojito on top. I think it's very, very progressive. Just again, 10 starts, 1 win, can definitely go on with it. And I think they want to try and pull out another win for the David Hawlyard before they head to the paddock before the end of the season. I think he can do that. Maybe even jump into class 3 racing by the end of the season. So for me, going with Flying Mojito, not a stack of confidence because I do think there's a few chances outside of that and a few class droppers that are intriguing as well with Celtic Times and also War Weapons. So keep an eye on those in the market if you see some late money for them. But Flying Mojito on top for me.
Yes, it's quite an interesting race in race 9. So Nathan's selection, number 3, Flying Mojito, he is quite a dynamic horse because on his recent 2 start, he can chase from the back and also he can stay in front just like last time. Also, gate 5 this time is quite ideal for him. And for me, I'm going with number 5. Prince Alex, that Douglas White trained gelding is now ridden by Hugh Bowman for the first time. He is quite a good horse in Hong Kong, I think, because he made his debut in Hong Kong this season and last season, and I think he did quite well recently in Class 3. But last time when he was racing in Class 4 for the first time, Dallas White put Alice One on board, taking out 10 pounds, and the horse finished close, beaten by 2.5 lengths. I think it was not a bad run. Also, proven that he is quite competitive in this class, especially he gets a good draw this time, gates number 6. I think he can stay in the midfield or behind the leaders, which will be quite a good position for him. And this time he has some gear changes, and hopefully these changes will be helpful for the horse because I think last time he performed quite well, but maybe this time having Hugh Bowman on board, although he needs to carry 134 pounds, he's a good jockey for riding the top weighted horses. So I think Prince Alex this time can have some breakthrough in Hong Kong because he's still a maiden after 13 starts here. So he's progressing quite well, and as long as his rating keeps dropping, he's now quite competitive. So I will keep my eyes on number 5, Prince Alex. So to recap, race 9, Nathan goes with number 3, Flying Mojito, and I will go with number 5, Prince Alex. So the second leg of the treble, it will be race 10, another class 3, but it is over 1,200 meters. Nathan, who do you fancy in race 10?
Yeah, my best bet comes up in race number 10, and I think most people would have it on top. That's number 1, Helios Express. This horse could be very, very good. That win last start was just incredible. The way he was able to put pay to his rivals. First up on debut, he was actually second in behind, or on Hong Kong debut, I should say. Ran second in behind Golden Empire. He should have won that day. He was very unlucky. He went back to near enough to last, powered through the line. He drew 12, so Purton had to take his medicine from the gate. And from there, I mean, he was clearly the eye catcher from that meeting. He came out, he jumped a reasonable price, really, at around 2-1. And I think that was more than fair considering what he came out and did. He won by 3 lengths and gave them an absolute shellacking. Barrier 1 that day. He jumped, put himself up on speed, just in behind the leaders. And then when the race went on, he was able to absolutely carve them up. Ran good time as well, broke up 109 at the course for the day. And that was very, very good time considering. Beat Komorachi Kokoro, who was a career best run, really. I thought it was a really nice effort by that horse, but was no match for Helios Express. The Son of Toronado looks very, very progressive to me. Just the 3 starts, 2 wins to his name. He has to go up 10 pounds for the win, but he earns every ounce of it. I think he's much better than Class 3 company, and I think by the end of the next season, we're going to be talking about this guy in much, much better esteem than where he's at the moment. I think he wins tonight. Do you have to take a short quote? Yes, you do. He's come up around 1.3, 1.4. I don't see him drifting anywhere to maybe 1.5 if you're lucky. But outside of that, I don't think there's too many others I want to be backing into the race. You could probably have a forecast with 1 or 2 of them. Ace 1, I think, starting to put it all together now, this preparation. I think that's one you can follow with some confidence. It was a really nice run in behind Flying Ace last time, so maybe that's one you can chuck into a forecast. And the one I mentioned as well, Tomodachi Kokoro, who's, again, I thought it was a really nice effort considering his first 3 starts in Hong Kong were just okay. I thought, he was starting to really improve as his racing. Actually comes out of here in Australia and had some decent form up in Northern Territory of all places. So it started to run really, really well. But it's going well over in Hong Kong at the moment as well. But look, I just think really from barrier 4, if Purton finds a spot with cover throughout, doesn't really matter where in the run. I just find him very hard to beat. I couldn't go past Helios Express. Best bet of the night for me. And with a fair bit of confidence, I think only bad luck gets him beat.
Yes, I definitely agree with you, Nathan. In race 10, number 1, Helios Express breaking from gates 4 and having Zach Purton on board is really hard to beat. He's quite a lightly raised for a 3-year-old, and he will turn 4 next season, and I'm quite sure that he is able to participate in the 4-year-old Classics series in the coming season. And actually, the anti-polls is suggesting that he is one of the favorites. So I'm quite confident that he can perform quite well this time. Especially, he's proven already 1,200 meters is quite suitable for him. So I think he is quite hard to beat. I agree with you. So I will also have him on top. But another horse that I having quite a quick mention will be number 5, Euro Rocks. Although breaking from gate 11, he used to be staying at the back, so I think the wide draw isn't a big problem for him. And he will be ridden by Vincent Ho. Zach Purton and Vincent Ho are both chasing for some new personal record for them in one season. So I think Vincent Ho will be trying his best to ride the horse. So I think Euro Rocks can also have some good performance because 1,200 meters should be a better distance for him. So returning back to this distance, to this trip is much more suitable. So apart from Helios Express, I think number 5, Euro Rocks is also having quite a good chance here. Both of them are wearing in a purple silk. So to recap, race 10, both Nathan and I agree with the short priced favorites. Number 1, Helios Express. So the last leg of the treble, race 11, we are going to discuss. It is a class 3 over 1,400 meters. Nathan, who do you pick in the last race of the card?
Yeah, the last race they've saved an absolute ripper for the last. It's very, very hard. I thought this was probably the toughest race of the afternoon or of the evening. Just it's very wide open. You know, we've got 5.7 the
Mm,
field here. Satan's is the favourite. I don't want to be against that horse, but geez, he won at big odds and he came out and ran really well again at big odds, and now you got to take a shorter quote. So I understand if you want to be that way. I just thought there was a few other horses you could find at a bit of value here. I'm going down to the bottom of the page, and that's number 14 by Silver Sonic. Jesus horse has really improved this preparation. He actually jumped first up from Australia over the 1,000 meters. Very disappointed behind Flying High, and you thought, okay, maybe this is just one that hasn't acclimatized to Hong Kong racing conditions. But then since then, he ran fourth at 180 to 1 behind Not Usual Star. Thought that was a much improved effort, and then was actually very unlucky not to be beating a horse like Lucky Encounter two back. Lost by 2 lengths. But he drew 12. He had to go forward. He was cast 3 wide, but he stuck on really nicely to the task. And then last start, ran him behind A-Pal. Now, A-Pal hasn't franked the form yet, but I thought he was a little bit deceiving considering it was on a wet deck, his latest effort. But you go back to his dry track effort in class 3, it was very strong effort. So I'm still convinced that the A-Pal form's good enough to be winning a race like this. Gets in nice and low at the weight here with the 116 pounds on his back. I think he's well weighted here, Silver Sonic. Draws gate 1, should be able to jump. I don't think they want to be leading here. I think there's a horse like Massive Action, I think gets a genuine lead here, pretty easy lead if they want it. So let that horse cross and just sit in behind, get the rail in the C+3, which is a real benefit usually at Sha Tin at this time of the season. So they can jump, put themselves in behind the leader, and from there, a bit of luck when they turn for home. I think you can sort of pinch a break on these and be very hard to chase down with Harry Bentley on board. He knows his horse well now. He's jumped on it 3 times, and this time he draws gate 1 as opposed to his last 2 starts where he's drawn 12 and also 14. So he finally gets a chance to really put himself up on speed and up in the race without having to do too much work as he's had to do his last couple of starts. I think $6 is a fair price. You look at his SP profile now. He went $180 into $29 into $15. He's just been progressively getting there, and the market's starting to adjust to how well he's been running. So Silver Sonic for me, and he is a son of Exosphere, interestingly. So you'd expect him to be a bit of a sprinting type, but the 400 meters to me looks absolutely ideal for this guy. So hopefully Silver Sonic can get that win on the board, and I think he deserves it. He's right at the bottom here of class 3. I think he deserves to stay up in grade, and because if he doesn't produce here, you'd think he's not too far away on his rating from jumping down in class before the end of the season. So I'm happy to be with Silver Sonic. I think he's the one to beat at the price at around 6 to 1. And the other one that I just want to give a small mention to, I'm just finding it intriguing that he's come here first up after a 70-day layoff. I think they just want to see what they've got in hand here with Casa Papa, number 9 in the market. I think it's intriguing that they had a little spell. They brought him back after 161 days. Pardon me, 7 days. I was thinking of a different horse. 161-day spell, this guy. Interesting that they brought him here first up. He's got a first up profile. He's had 5 starts first up for 2 wins and a minor placing. Draws gate 5, gets a nice run in transit. First up last preparation, he actually ran second in behind Mr. Ascendancy, then came out and beat Eremo. And Eremo at the moment is going very well. So interesting to see how this guy comes here first up. I think they just want to see what they've got in hand. And I'm intrigued to back him at the price. I think you're getting around double figure odds around 12 to 1. So little saver bet for me in the race, just on a bit of an X factor basis. They haven't got a real push for him or any real reason to be backing him with confidence. I just think there's a bit of a coup around here. I find it interesting he's first up with only a couple meetings left in Sha Tin. So that's the one for me. Casa Papa, a bit of value if you want to go outside of the what I think is the leading hope down the bottom of the page. Silver Sonic, I've got on top and at a nice price as well, around 6 to 1. So Silver Sonic in the last for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Casa Papa returning after quite a long spell and a good first of form for him. But I agree with Nathan that number 14, Silver Sonic, this time finally a good draw for him. Gate 1 and a lightweight here is quite beneficial from this race. And he's quite competitive and consistent recently over both 1,200 meters and 1,400 meters. And I also think that this time the draw is really ideal for him. So hopefully Silver Sonic can have a good performance here. I agree with that. But after him, I also have my eyes on number 10, Massive Action. Although the wide draw gates number 14, the horse has a good enough speed to overcome the wide draw. And also, I think Angus Jones is knows the horse quite well. So at least over the 1400 meters at Sha Tin, after the starting gates till the first turn, there is enough time for him to find find the best position for the horse. And the horse really has good gate speed. So I think Massive Action, although breaking from the wide draw, he's still able to take the lead before the turn. So as Nathan just mentioned, the races are held over the C+3 course in this afternoon. So I think the front runners or even the leaders will be quite favorable. So I will have a small bet on number 10, Massive Action as well. But my topic in this race will be also number 14, Silver Sonic. So to recap, race 11, both Nathan and I agree with number 14, Silver Sonic. So after talking about the three legs of the treble, let's talk about our best bets. Nathan, can you tell us again which horse will be your best bets today?
Yeah, no prize at the price, but I'm happy to be with Helios Express as the best bet. I just think, look, I think he picks himself in a race that there just isn't another horse that has that progressive nature to them like Helios has. You know what you're going to get. He's got so much upside. His last start performance was too good to ignore. I don't see any horse turning the tables from that form. As I mentioned, Tomodachi Kokoro, he's got some chance of maybe turning the tables if he goes forward, maybe presses on with it and maybe leaves Helios standing still for a little bit. But once he gets the revs up, he's clearly the one to beat. I think it's a matter by how far. If you don't want to take the price, I totally understand that. As I said, maybe a forecast with a few of the other ones I mentioned, an Ace One, even Shireen's pick, Euro Rocks, and then Tomodachi as well. Maybe throw a couple in there for the minors and see how you go in that regard. But Helios Express for me, I just think he picks himself tonight, and I think we might be seeing a sprinter on the rise. A few of them have started to make their presence known at the end of the season, and he's one of them. So Helios Express on top, and I'll make it the best bet.
Yes, definitely a good horse to pick. I think he's the really likely winner in race 10, Helios Express, number 1 in race 10. Currently, the price is 1.4, quite a short price here, but I think he's really the likely winner here. And my best bet goes into the opener. It is a Griffin race over 1200 meters. I also like the mount of Zach Purton, which is number 3, Kayin Victory, also having quite a short price here, currently 1.7. I think it is fair enough because the horse is this time racing over the turn for the first time. I think he is able to handle it because of the good draw and also quite an impressive performance last time out when he made the debut here. And this time he will not be carrying the top weight, only 128 pounds, which will not be a big burden for him. And as long as Zach Purton keeps on board, I think he is able to win again. Gate 4 is ideal for him, and I think he is able to find a good position. So I think Zach Purton is going to have a nice afternoon today at Sha Tin. So maybe in the opener, number 3, Guiding Victory will be his first win for the day. So to recap our best bet, Nathan will be in race 10, number 1, Helios Express, and my best bet will be race 1, number 3, Guiding Victory. So if you're looking for some outsider, Nathan, who do you pick as your value bet?
Yeah, I found one very intriguing runner here. Again, I mentioned before that I think it's interesting to see first starters or first up horses at Sha Tin this weekend, considering we've only got a couple meetings left. I'm very intrigued by one here. We're going to go to race number 4, and there's a first starter here, number 5. It's called Lapras. Now, you're getting around 14-1, and I actually think this horse is going very, very well in its track work. Won a trial first up at Chungfa. It was a very nice trial win. I believe it was over around the 800 meters. A very good trial. And then ran there again, ran second in behind Super Highway in a barrier trial. Again, very nice jump out. And then just went to the all-weather. I thought it was just a little tick over trial before coming here to Sha Tin on the turf. I'm very, very intrigued by this guy. Comes out of Smart Missile by Lady Mary Dam. And I just think 3-year-old gelding, first up, really good map. Lyle Hewitson, Douglas White, great combination when they combine with a pretty good strike rate this season in general. And Lyle Hewitson, we talked about jockeys on the rise. He's one of them. He's riding very, very well in Hong Kong this season. And I think this horse at around 14-1, I've just got a bit of spec about it, considering it's a race where uh, it's a race that doesn't have traditional winners in it. You know, you look through the field, you look at
Mm,
Indeed,
yes.
Texas Moon, Team Spirit, a Champion Instinct, Hero Icon. We're talking about a lot of lightly raced and not very. Look, I don't think there's a horse in this race that's won in the last couple, say 5-6 starts. So with that in mind, it's a very wide open race, and they're the races where I like to look for some value. And Lapras presents with that. I just think there's a bit of X factor. As I said, he's first up. You
Mm,
only need to run a poll to be getting a nice return here around 14 and 3.5 on the place line. So Lapras on a good map, good jump outs. I've been a big fan of its trials. I actually would have marked it a bit shorter than 14-1. The fact we're getting a nice double figure price in a race where the favourite hasn't even won a race yet and Indeed, I'm pretty happy to be with some value here, and it comes in the form of Lapras. So hopefully he can get the job done on Sunday night, because I think it's a good each way
mm.
play on the card.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Race for number 5, Lapras, the first, the newcomer trained by Douglas White, and also this trainer is having really good partnership with the jockey Lau. He was in gate 6 for this debutant, and also in quite a weak field in race 4, I think, because Nathan just mentioned all the other rivals are not having some really good recent form. So yeah, quite a good pick here, Lapras, as a value pick for Nathan. And for my value bet, I also like another son of Smart Missile that will be in race 3, number 11, Chun Wan Glory. He's returning after quite a long spell, and I think this time stepping up to 1600 meters for the first time will be more suitable for this Smart Missile gelding. And during the spell, he had several barrier trial, and I think he performed quite well. And also this time he will be having Brandon Abdullah on board. Brandon Abdullah is having quite good combination with this trainer Manfred Mann, and I also fancy this one in race 3. And yes, number 11, Chunwan Glory here is still a maiden after 12 starts in Hong Kong, but I think this time returning after a spell and also stepping up to a more suitable distance for him can make some difference. So hopefully he can make some breakthrough or even break the maiden tag here. Gates 4 for him is quite ideal. I'm expecting him to be leading or staying in front, just like his recent barrier trial performance. And he could lead to the end on his trial. So I think he's now ready for racing or even ready for a win. So I will be fancying him number 11 in race 3, Chunwan Glory, to have some better performance, especially over this better trip for him. So to recap, our value bet today: for Nathan, race 4, number 5, Lapras, and for me, race 3, number 11, Chunwan Glory. So that's all for our preview today. We are going to watch 11 races in this afternoon or even at the night time at Sha Tin. So hopefully we can bring you some winner. And thank you for watching once again. We will see you next time for the Happy Valley preview. See you next time. Goodbye.